May I proceed?
Please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, you just testified on direct that you work for a paper that has a bit of a negative reputation.
Yes, it does.
The Midlands Voice?
Yes.
You say that it has a reputation as a muckraking newspaper.
Yes.
However, you don't think that that's a bad thing.
No, in journalism, it's not a bad thing.
You say that muckraking just means digging for the truth.
Digging for the truth. Yes.
You're sure that it doesn't mean looking for scandalous stories?
The newspaper had a reputation of being a scandalous newspaper, like I said, but me personally too, we dig for the truth in every story.
So you're saying that the newspaper doesn't search for scandalous stories?
They are known as a scandalous newspaper, yes.
Directing me back to my question. Yes or no, does this newspaper actually search for scandalous stories?
They do, yes.
Now, you wanted to get published with this paper for some time, correct?
Yes, and I have been published.
Now, when you originally went to the editor in 2011, you went to him with a story about Rocket World,
Yes, I did.
your employer. And you were turned down for your story not being scandalous enough?
Yes, looking back at it, it was a pretty boring story.
You wanted something more exciting, right?
Yes, anything would have been better.
So you went back to Rocket World in 2012 with the hopes of finding that story, correct?
No, that's not true. I went to Rock the World to work there. I needed a job.
You didn't go back to Rocket World and keep your eyes open?
Well, of course I kept my eyes open. I'm a journalist. That's what I do.
And let's say that if you were to find something that piqued your journalistic interest, you wouldn't take that to your editor, would you?
Of course I would.
If you found a scandalous story at Rocket World, you would take that to your editor?
Yes, I would like to get a story published. I would do that.
And in fact, at the end of 2012, that's exactly what you did, correct?
Yes, I did that.
You went back to your editor saying that you had more evidence of a scandal at Rocket World.
Yes, and it wasn't enough though.
It wasn't enough? Do you recall why that was?
To explain
Oh,
that.
your editor said that it wasn't scandalous enough.
Okay.
What would be better?
Can you explain?
Well, I guess I'm just trying to get at, well, how would you define scandalous, Ms. Hunter?
You know, I just take a story.
Objection, Your Honor. The relevance.
How is it not relevant?
Asking her opinion of what scandalous would be has no say in any fact in today's case.
Response?
It goes to the credibility of the witness, Your Honor. If she's looking for scandalous stories, then it affects the credibility of her testimony. You should also know how she defines what a scandalous story is.
Yeah, I see the point you're trying to make, but I agree with the defense. The objection is sustained. Please move on.
If you were to find evidence of some sort of wrongdoing at Rocket World, you would try to get that published, correct?
Well, the main key that you just said is evidence, which relates to facts, and I would publish the facts. I wouldn't turn it and make it scandalous. If it's scandalous, I'll publish that, yes.
So your editor would only publish it if you thought that you had the facts, correct?
That's not true. I have published a story and it wasn't scandalous, but it was a good story.
So if you took a story that you thought was based on evidence to your editor, and it wasn't found scandalous enough, then what would you do?
I mean, I can't speak on behalf of what he would think of my story until it actually happens. So I honestly can't answer that for you.
So your editor never found any of your stories about Rocket World scandalous?
No, they weren't scandalous enough.
You weren't able to publish a story in the Midlands Voice about Rocket World?
No.
Your editor did not agree that anything scandalous was going on?
No, it didn't have to be about Rockville.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Redirect?
No redirect. At this time, I ask that my witness be able to step down from the stand.
Granted, you're excused.